You probably have heard of those 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, recycle. You hear them all the time. Get those chasing arrows. You see those all the time on everything. But have you heard of the 6 Rs? We're going to talk today about those 6 Rs and give a quick introduction to each, just give you a general understanding. And if you're new here, I'm Katarina. This is Sustainably Rooted, and welcome. My mission is to make zero waste living accessible and sustainable for you and your family. Follow me on Instagram to get some different ideas and share yours. I'd love to hear. So let's talk about the 6 Rs. Rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. 6 Rs. And so we're going to go through each of them and hopefully give some different examples. So our first one is rethink. Rethink is going to be that big cornerstone, that foundation to everything that you're doing. And if you're trying to kind of maybe as a family do this, it's a great opportunity to start with a conversation. What's your purpose? What's your goals? How are you going to change this mindset? So that's a great place to start. And then as you're going through, always going back to that and asking yourself. So for example, have a holiday coming up. What is the purpose? What are you trying to do? Is it spending time together? Is it that you want to have a meal together as a family? Maybe you want to be able to just visit people that you haven't seen for a while. Have those be the cornerstones of what you're celebrating, and everything kind of centers around that. The second one is going to be refuse. Refuse is the idea of saying no thank you. How can I set boundaries? How can I reduce at the very beginning? How do I, before it even comes in my home, how can I stop it before it even comes in? That's where waste happens. And so refusing is saying no to things that you don't even need. For example, the straws in your coffee, maybe napkins. Instead of grabbing, they give you like this giant stack of napkins. Just say no thank you. Practice with small things, and then you can always grow and get bigger. So the next one is going to be reduce. Reduce is just kind of reducing what you're already bringing into your house, reducing what's already there, and just kind of keeping your waste, whether it's waste of time, waste of energy, waste of resources, waste at a minimal. For example, reduce could be reducing your car driving, planning a grocery list so that you're reducing, say, food waste. That's reducing. Reducing can also be reducing what's already in your home. Hopefully I'll have some videos coming up here about living more of a minimalist life or decluttering your home. And one of the biggest reasons to do this is that you're finding value in the stuff that you already own. Reduce can be reducing those single-use plastics or single-use items. It could be using your regular silverware, dishware, instead of buying paper plates for a party. Or maybe it is bringing your own coffee cup and reducing how often you're getting a cup from there. And again, no, even if it was compostable, it's still waste. It's still something that's being wasted. So that brings us to reuse. And reuse is really exactly as it sounds. We're repurposing, we're giving like a second life to something, we're mending things, we're fixing things. And I think that sometimes can be challenging for people. It's easier to throw something out. People don't always have the skill sets to mend clothing or reuse an item or see something beyond its original use. And I would really challenge people to kind of think of this before throwing something away. I also challenge people to try something secondhand. Purchase something that has already been out there. And I'll hopefully have another video shortly about different resources out there for secondhand purchases. All right, so remember, real quick, going back to the very beginning, our whole goal for these 6 Rs is to create decision making, to get an idea of kind of this hierarchy about how to make more sustainable choices. We've got rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse. We're on number 4. Here we are at number 5, and we're finally getting to recycle. Most people believe that recycling is the one and only solution, and they forget about all these other options, all these other things that we have to consider, and all these other things we should be doing before we're recycling. Now, recycling is a whole nother video, which we can get into later, but in general, hopefully, we are finding other purposes. There are certain things that are just really not able to be recycled and not recycled well. For example, clothing is not being recycled well at this time. And so finding second-hand clothing is a really good option. Mending your clothing, reducing the clothing that comes into your household, all great options. So recycling is a really good option for things like glass and aluminum, as long as it's properly recycled and we're properly going through those processes. Recycling is knowing what is recyclable in your area and what's not. And this really varies significantly from location to location. Our last one is rot. Rot is our compostable items. You want to make sure that something is home compostable versus not home compostable. You need to know what's compostable in your area. All right, so hopefully, again, those 6 Rs: rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. And again, kind of going down that hierarchy, really starting with that foundation of rethinking and continuing to hopefully making different strides in your in the sustainable journey. In the comments below, what are you doing really well? What's an area of struggle? What do you want to learn more about? I'm really excited to hear how this journey is going for you. And I really appreciate you for watching. So thank you for being sustainable.